Hello everyone. In Module 3, we will discuss about register. In this chapter, we will discuss the context-based and text-based register categorization and register classification in the Oxford English Dictionary. Several terms in linguistics and discourse will also be explained. So, what is register all about? The term register refers to specific lexical and grammatical choices as made by speakers depending on the situational context, the participants of conversation, and the function of the language in discourse. Register also defined as situationally defined varieties. Let's proceed to context-based register categorization. Halliday, who was one of the first linguists to pay special attention to the concept of register in the 1960s and 1970s. He also interprets the notion as a semantic concept which can be defined as a configuration of meanings that are typically associated with a particular situational configuration of field, mode, and tenor. The linguistic features, which is specific expressions, lexicogrammatical and phonological features, and the particular values of three dimensions of field, mode, and tenor. Let's proceed to field of discourse. The total event in which the text is functioning together with the purposive activity of the speaker or writer. Field of discourse thus includes the subject matter as one element in it by Halliday in 1994. The field also describes activities and processes that are happening at the time of speech. For example, when a mother talks to her child. Field of discourse refers to what is going on and is concerned with the purpose and topic of communication. It answers why and about what. Examples of field are activities such as tennis, opera, linguistics. When people ask you what you do when first getting to know you, you tend to answer in terms of field. So that's all for today. The next reporter will discuss the mode and tenor. Thank you.
Mode of discourse. The mode of discourse refers to the function of the text in the event, including therefore both the channel taken by the language, spoken or written, extempore or prepared, and its genre, or rhetorical mode as narrative, deductive, persuasive, phatic communion, and so on. This variable determines the role and function of language in a particular situation. When analyzing the mode of a text, the main question is, what is achieved by the use of language in this context? For example, a fairy tale in written form may have a narrative or entertaining function. Spoken conversation can be argumentative in a discussion or phatic. Example given: to contact someone or to keep in touch with someone. Mode also refers what part the language is playing, what it is the participants are expecting the language to do for them in that situation, the symbolic organization of the text, the status that it has, and its function in the context, including the channel. And also the rhetorical mode, what is being achieved by the text in terms of categories such as persuasive, expository, didactic, and the like. The mode is generally divided into three main areas: the language role, channel, and medium. Language role, or how important is the language in this context? Is it ancillary, not important, or is it constitutive, the central element in the context? Channel. Channel, which may be either phonic or graphic. And medium, which may be either written or spoken. These three together generally form the mode of discourse. A politician's speech, for example, would be constitutive. The language itself is the central focus. Phonic, the politician is speaking, but written, it is generally prepared on paper. Modes of discourse also four traditional modes. Number one is narration, description, exposition, and argument. So, narration is storytelling. It involves relating a series of events, usually in a chronological order. Thus, a simple narrative may begin with once upon a time and end with and they live happily ever after. And the events narrated may be fictional, a made up of story, or non-fictional, the events really occurred. Description tells what things are like according to the five senses. A descriptive essay or descriptive passage in a story tells how things look, sound, feel, taste, and smell. Exposition is the kind of writing that is used to inform. The thing that is placed out for us to see and understand is information. The final the final mode of discourse is argument. The purpose of argument is to convince through logic. An argument is based on a belief or opinion that the writer holds as true. Identifying the mode of discourse is a convenient way to talk about writing, and a specific essay or longer works may be labeled narration, description, exposition, or argument. However, the various modes are almost never found in a pure form but are embedded one within another and work in concert to help the writer achieve his purpose.
Medium and genre. Genre rather. So, this approach to suggest that there are countless different language situations and therefore registers. Hymes also indicates that there are still many variables and patterns that have to be discovered and classified. Hymes 1979. So Crick et al. 1989 do not define the register explicitly, but they describe varieties according to the field of discourse, medium, and attitude. In fact, this confirms the Halliday's concept of register. Although they never make use of this term, yet Crick et al. 1989 present a five-term distinction to categorize linguistic varieties, and thus they narrow down the range of registers. So the five variables is formal, neutral, informal, and very informal. So these are the distinction. Five distinction. The very formal variety of language is extremely distant, rigid, or frozen. Crick et al. 1989 is often found in written instructions. Very informal language, which is also called intimate, casual, slangy, or hearty, is used between family members of close friends. So, Halliday, Hymes, and Crick et al. Have similar notions of register, which it is a focus on the context of a language situation, and they identify registers on the basis of this knowledge. And that's all for the tenor of this course.
Our topic for today is text-based register categorization. But first, let's look at the terms and their meanings. The first term is text-based. Based on grammatical characteristics. It means it is based on text. It refers to text and not graphics or images. The second term is register. Situationally defined varieties. It is a predictor of language variation. Register is important for students, professionals, scientists, and academics to know the formal register for writing papers, theses, and reports. Registers in journalists is different from registers in research and scientific articles. Registers in journalists focuses on language, while on research and scientific articles focuses on terms and scientific terms. The next term is categorization, also known as the classification or the classes. Let's see what Halliday and Biber say about register. What are their definitions in common? Biber agrees with Halliday in that important components of the situational context include the purpose of communication, thus the physical mode, spoken or written, the production circumstances, and the various demographic characteristics of the speaker and writer must be taken into consideration. However, Biber has a different view or definition about register. Let us see how he viewed the register. He focused on grammatical characteristics of the different text types. He looks at register only from the text and as a set of texts that exhibit relatively high or low frequencies of occurrence of particular grammatical features. According to Biber, registers share many linguistic features such as nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, etc., and they are distinguished by the relative use of these features. He also stated in the module that several linguistically and situationally similar kinds of text constitute a register. And that's only for my short report. Thank you for listening.
So, hello everyone, this will be the continuation on Gerald Bryan report regarding text-based register categorization, and in this part we will talk about corpus-based approach. Corpus-based approach, a method that uses an underlying corpus as an inventory of language data. It is a method where the corpus interrogated and data is used to confirm linguistic present, explanation, and assumptions. It acts therefore as additional material. So, corpus-based approach, a method to support intuitive knowledge, to verify expectation, or to allow linguistic phenomena to be quantified and to find proof for existing theories or to retrieve illustrative samples. Biber 1999 considered four major registers: conversation, fiction, newspaper, and academic prose. Conversation, so-called, a talk, especially an informal one between two or more people, in which news and ideas are exchanged. And there are types of conversation. One is debate. The goal is to win an argument or convince someone. Second is dialogue. The goal is to participate, to exchange information and build relationships. Third is discourse. The goal is to deliver information. And last is diatribe. The goal is to express emotion. The second register is fiction. It's a kind of literature in the form of prose, especially short stories and novels that describe imaginary events and people, deliberately fabricated account of something. It can be a literary work based on imagination rather than facts. So, one good example for this is a book that is not based on real life story or a lie that you've made. Next register is newspaper, a printed publication consisting of folded and stapled sheet and containing news, feature article, advertisement, and correspondence. And last is academic prose. Indicates an inflated and static style. Academic prose emphasizes nouns rather than verbs, and academic prose uses static verb rather than action verb. However, also points out that the register can be defined at almost any level of generality. The four registers of his approach can be further subdivided. Newspaper writing includes news reportage and editorial as well as reviews, as we have said. This means that there is, like in Halliday approach, a considerable amount of possible registers. In his analysis, Beaver examines lexicogrammatical structure, or when we talk of lexicogrammar, is a level of linguistic structure where lexis or vocabulary and grammar or syntax combine in one. Lexicogrammatical structure of text samples for each register and concentrates on the actual use of these features in different varieties of English. In this way, he can describe a specific register according to its linguistic feature, and it is possible to distinguish the major register from each other with more or less clear-cut boundaries. Register clarification in the Oxford Dictionary: informal, normally used only in contexts such as conversation or letters between friends. Vulgar or slang: formal, technical, necessarily stated, literary, dated, historic, no longer humorous, archaic, and rare. So, thank you.